A massive thank you to Ali, Tom, Dan, and Daniel for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in these little clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone, and welcome back guys to a brand new video, where today we're here back with round 12 of our F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yesterday we're here, ready for the Temple of Speed, one of our best chances. We always say for us on the F1 games, Monaco and Monza. Complete opposite tracks in the Formula 1 world, I must admit. But those are always our two golden opportunities for big results over the course of the year. But of course, if you missed out on yesterday's video from the Dutch Grand Prix, a bit of a weird one, I would recommend going back and checking out if you haven't already. But as we head to Monza here today, plenty to get on with before we dive into the weekend there. We've got 1,846 R&D points at the moment, but I think we need to get on with something else first of all. Lundgaard, he hasn't been performing. Quickly as well, before we get into that, actually, I probably should address the elephant in the room. Yes, I now have a pink towel behind me. It's still far too warm in the UK for recording like normally, so it's going to have to do before I sweat to death in this room. The things I do for you guys for daily Formula 1 content. But let me know about the towel, whether you think I should keep it in for future videos as well, of course. But yeah, Lundgaard, though, just hasn't been performing, to be honest. I personally can't justify giving him another 2 million of our hard-earned dollars here on F1 2021. So we're going to head to the driver market, and I throw out one name to you guys, who apparently now has gone up in value as well, because he must have, I reckon Cody's listens in to our conversations here. We're going to be trying to go out and get Robert Schwartzman for the second half of the year. You can see his experience is exactly the same. His race is slightly better. His awareness is the same, and his pace is the same. So he is just a better driver on the whole. 70 rated versus 68. Let's see if we can try and go get him there. Now, do we...
Here you can make an offer to your driver. The more you offer, the greater the chance of them agreeing to it. Be careful not to insult drivers, though. If you do, they might refuse to negotiate anymore with you in this negotiation period.
I'll be honest, I'm tempted just to go with the low-risk offer. Funny story, actually. At the very end of our F1 2020 career mode, I actually tried to hire Raggers from Formula 2, Mahavir Raghunathan. Sent him a low-ball offer, and he just refused to talk to me after that. So I was a bit gutted with that one. So we're going to low-risk Robert Schwartzman. Fingers crossed we get hold of him. There we go. 98 days we're going to have Robert Schwartzman on the team there. So we have now got him on the roster as well for the second half of the year, which does now mean as well we can have a look at trying to bring some more upgrades to the car. Now, I want to be looking at resource points generation. 1.6 million, but we desperately need more resource points week in, week out there. So that is going to be an upgrade I'm going to try and do on a couple of departments if possible there. So that's 3.2 million down the drain. We've also got 1,800 R&D points at the moment, so we need to see if we can try and get on with a couple more upgrades if possible. We can go with the heat dispersing wheel rims. That should give us a bit of a helping hand there. That won't be ready till Japan though. That's a little bit gutting as well. 600 R&D points left. We can go with the redesigned brake ducts as well there, and that should be ready for the Russian Grand Prix in a couple of weeks' time. So that is bringing us again pretty much now in line once more with like Alpine getting us a bit closer to McLaren when all those upgrades go on the car there. We have got 4 upgrades in the works on the chassis and the aero at this stage of the year as well. There are no major changes as we leave Zandvoort and head to this weekend's race. But let's dive in then to the Italian Grand Prix. Oh! Quickly, we might get an upgrade on the car beforehand. Yes, there we go. We've got one more upgrade on the car.
Continue to increase our acclaim, more potential partners become willing to work with us.
We can get another sponsor.
An additional sponsor from the corporate tab.
Wonderful. I completely forgot about that as well. So we'll go again with probably one of the ones with the highest weekly bonus, 181k. Answer these 4 interview questions during a race weekend. The easiest objective we could ever get. We're going with them as well. So PSD and the Uturp are now on the team as well. Now, finally, we've done a lot of admin. Let's dive in. Coming to the end of our tyre wear run though here at the Temple of Speed. Always love coming back to Monza on the F1 games, and that is going to be the first objective done and dusted.
Test complete, and that was a very good job indeed. We got a lot of valuable information out of that.
Not sure how much valuable information you can get out one lap, but we'll take it. 200 R&D points on the board, hopefully more upgrades coming soon. It's a bit weird on F1 2021, where you leave Monza so early in the calendar. Of course, you get to Europe so early as well in the season. Very much feels like, normally, Monza, you're like, we're getting in towards the end game now of the season. We've still got another 8 races to go after today as well. Plenty can still happen over the rest of this first season. Team happy with the first lap, though, on the board. But, yeah, just kind of mad. Just, you completely change your mindset. Hopefully, once we get all the new tracks on the calendar as well, that should make things a little bit easier. But, yeah, a bit crazy. Anyway, coming towards the end of our race simulation program, we're doing pretty well so far at the moment. Of course, Monza, you just use a lot of battery where you need to. A bit like Baku, in that sense, where you've got that huge straight, you can make up like half a second if you need to as well. But down over the line, another purple score, another 2 R&D points.
You've nailed what we asked for.
Coming to the end of our qualifying simulation run, though a little way off the pace, I'll be honest. But again, generally this program, very, very difficult to beat early on in the game. Anyway, heading out into qualifying here then at Monza, I genuinely believe we haven't got a chance of points this weekend, as well they're at least got to be close to the running for points once again here. But let's just wait and see. Of course, safety cars can have a major effect on these Grand Prix as well. Obviously, how we managed to score our only points of the year at Paul Ricard. Also interested to see how Schwartzman gets on this weekend as well. We'll have to see what our teammate can muster up in qualifying there through the first sector. Just a little bit deep on the brakes through turn 1. It's going to compromise our exit through turn 2, but nothing too major there. Just about trying to make sure you attack the curbs you need to and really avoid the ones you don't. Final couple of corners of our first lap then. No major mistakes on this run, but certainly a little bit of time left on the table for a hunt to on our second run. At final turn, down towards the line. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 1:19.4, so 3/10 off strong.
The tank is empty.
Avoid Giovinazzi, homeboy this weekend. There might be a good chance of points here. At least, sorry, Q2 even. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves with points. Well, just over halfway through the session, I think it's just the fact that the Aston Martins and Alpines aren't that fast around this circuit as well here. So we'll wait to see what we can do on this second run. Need another few tenths if we want to be looking at Q2 here. But, like I said, there's definitely a bit more time on the table. So fingers crossed as long as we get this lap a bit tidier. Turn 1, of course, made a bit of a mistake. There's got to be another tenth or so through here. Slam on the anchors. Again, just snagging the brakes slightly. And get on the power early. Still finding half a tenth at the very least. Heading down in towards Ascari. This was the only other place I really made a mistake on our first lap. Then really attack the curb on the way in. Leave it in 5th gear. And then really use the curbing on the way out as well. You can see we're now a couple of tenths up. So we head in towards the final couple of corners of the lap. It's so fun around Monza. Really just with no downforce on the car. You're sort of very much chucking it in to the corners there. Bit of a slip up on the way into the final corner there, but we do get really good drive on the exit. Quarter of a second up. It's going to give us a couple more spots at the very least. P13. Worried though, because it's so tight towards the rear of the field that we might have to go out for a final run anyway. And if we do then make Q2, we might not be able to do a lot with it. It's better than going out in Q1 still. Right, heading out then for our final run in Q1. We're only about a tenth clear of P16. That's just how close it is at this stage of the session. So certainly the likes of... Well, I mean, Stroll's just gone quicker than us again there. You can see Tsunoda and Schumacher right behind. So we have got to go for this final run just in case. Just in case, you know, everyone finds a bit more pace. Perhaps the track gets a bit quicker as it gets more rubbered in as well. Here we are, one of the last cars onto our run. At the very least, which is good there. It's like a nice chunk of curb through turn 1. That should allow us a better run on the exit of turn 2 as well. Then you can see another half-tenth up as we head out of the first chicanery. And it's just those little bits of time we need to find. They're down to P15 now as Giovinazzi goes a bit quicker in the Alfa Romeo. Really attack the curb through there. Try to avoid it on the exit though. 3/10 of a second. Oh, we found that through there. Didn't feel that great a run through the next chicane as we now head through the Lesmos. Running very deep there. That's not where we wanted to be. That's going to pretty much throw away all the time we just gained as we head down in towards the final couple of corners of Sector 2 there. Still sat in P15 at the moment. Let's nail Ascari. Bit deep on the way in, but we get a nice run on the exit. Come on, is anyone else going to find any more time? We've got a lot of cars just in front of us. As we head in towards the final couple of corners here, we are going to dip into the 118, so let's make a big mistake here. Which we kind of have. Just about hold it between the white line on the exit there. Where are we going to end up in this session? It's going to be another 2 tenths, and that should be Q2. Won't have any tyres for Q2, but we should have made it through at the very least. So at the end of the session there, P13 in the first session here at the Italian Grand Prix. They're very, very happy with that. Another team that should be happy is Ferrari. Top 2 at the end of the first session there. Mercedes 5th and 7th so far this weekend, so not very good for them. It seems like Red Bull, Mercedes, McLaren and Ferrari all in the mix once more here with Sebastian Vettel's Aston Martin not too far away there, but only a second off the top times there, so pretty happy with that. Giovinazzi as well gets through into Q2 with his home Grand Prix as well, ahead of his teammate Kimi Räikkönen, so I'm sure he's happy with that one. But I don't think, would our second lap even, sorry, would have just done it, but we would have been P16 there, so right on the cusp at the end of the session. Schwartzman, about half a second off us in the end there, so not the best lap in the world by him, but 3,000ths off George Russell isn't too bad going. We'll go for one run on the cleanest old set of tyres in Q2, but I'm not expecting much more than maybe we can out-qualify Gio. Right, it's meant to get cloudy here in Q2, so we're just going to go out for a run nice and early in the session, just on the off chance that it does end up raining later on here. We may as well try and get the lap in nice and early. Really got nothing to gain, nothing to lose at this stage of the session, so yeah, we'll go for a Q2 run. Hopefully we'll be close to the 18s again, but not too worried if we're sort of P15, P16. Not been the best lap in the world as we head down in towards Ascari, but like I said, not too worried about that. Oh, that was a horrible run through Ascari as well. Arguably the worst we've done it all weekend so far. As we use up all the track width on the exit from the short layout. In towards the final couple of corners, though, of this lap. Can we get the car tipped in nice and tidy? Oh, yeah, no, the tyres are definitely going. Can't do 2 runs on one set of tyres here in qualifying. Charles Leclerc 17.9. We are going to do only an 18.3. So not far away, but slower than Gio. It's P16 on the grid, but we'll take it. There, despite the woeful lap, we were actually pretty close to Gio at the end of the session there. 69 thousandths of a second. Love that. Behind Antonio Giovinazzi at the end of the session there. But Verstappen and Hamilton seem to be bringing a bit more pace in at Q2. Ferrari, though, still right there. Charles Leclerc bringing everything out of that thing at the moment. There are 4 cars from 4 different teams separated by a tenth and a half. Let's dive in to the Italian Grand Prix.
We're back in Italy once again for another round of the Formula One World Championship. And what a great race is in store for us today here at the oldest circuit on the calendar. Monza hosted its first race all the way back in 1922, with top speeds up to 215 miles per hour and an average lap speed of around 155 miles per hour. Monza's reputation as one of the fastest circuits in the sport is well earned. We have 11 corners on this 3.6-mile track, with the best overtaking chance coming into the heavy braking zone of the Turn 1 chicane. It's just about time to go to the track for the beginning of the race, but before we do, Anthony Davidson, what types of strategy do you think we can expect for today's event?
Well, there's a lot that both the driver and the team have to keep in mind when going into a race. The tyres, fuel, energy recovery systems, the list goes on and on. But I think the key to today's victory will come down to the pit stop strategy. Come in too soon and you might find yourself needing more than one stop. Too late and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by spending longer on worn tyres.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Ricciardo, Norris, Max Verstappen and Leclerc, Stroll, Perez, Sainz and Pierre Gasly, Vettel, Tsunoda, Antonio Giovinazzi, Mr. Monaco, Mick Schumacher, Raikkonen, George Russell and Fernando Alonso, Schwartzman, Mazepin, Latifi and Esteban Ocon rounds off the grid. That's it then, It's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.
I'd completely forgot about that on F1 2021. Ferrari's home race, of course, Ferrari power in the back of the car. But the potential of rain towards the end of this one. So far this year, wet races have gone badly, if I remember correctly. Badly, for the most part, for us. So fingers crossed the same doesn't happen here today as well. But we've moved up a couple of spots on the grid. Both Alpines with engine penalties this weekend there. So not too sure why they did so much running in qualifying. But each to their own. So P14 on the grid. We're not too far away from the points for the start of the Italian Grand Prix. But I just want to dive into it though. 27 laps ahead of us. We'll worry about the rain if it does get here towards the end. Waiting on those 5 red lights. And it is a mighty hold. It is lights out, and away we go. Or away we don't go, as the case may be. Then Raikkonen's bolted off there as we head down towards turn 1. The same can be said for Alonso, who just apparently decides to turn in on me. We're going to send it back up the inside there. How on earth can the FIA deem that my fault in that situation there? Instead of Alfa Romeo side by side in front of us, we'll bail out of that one on the exit of turn 1 there. So Raikkonen has had a blinding start straight into P13 of this Grand Prix there. Gio and I have both lost the 1 spot to him as we head down in towards the next chicane. Oh, big lock up of the rears, but we do somehow get past Giovinazzi there and back up to where we started, at the very least. That was a bit of opposite lock into the second chicane there. It's already struggling a bit with understeer from that. Come on, keep our head down. Focus, Matt, focus. But yeah, decent start there. We've kept the front wing intact as well, which is always an achievement here at Monza. One of the McLarens, though, is leading the way. Too sure who that is, I'll be honest. I'm going to guess Danny Rick, based on his form so far this year, and his OP form just on F1 2021 in general. But we have survived the opening lap here of Monza. Let's just get our head down and focus there. As actually one of the Mercs gets back past him in towards Parabolica. Not the most common overtaking place, but fair play Mercedes. Oh, we got yellow flags out. I think it's Mick Schumacher dropping to the wayside in this Grand Prix just behind us. Is it an engine failure? I'm going to hazard a guess and say that's an engine failure. Let's go have a look. Let's have a look then with Mick Schumacher. Does the engine just go kaboom down the straight? Yeah, that's pretty heartbreaking for Mick Schumacher. They're 3 wide as cars tried to get around him down the back straight, but Ferrari, yeah, not great for them at the start of the race. 2 laps in, and Schumacher's engine is completely gone. It really does not bode well for Ferrari there. That's the 3rd weekend in a row one of their power units has gone kaboom.
They are out of the race.
So poor Mick Schumacher won't get much running in for his first Italian Grand Prix. Raikkonen, though, new fast lap of the race. We need to get back in the DRS of him.
Within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Giovinazzi thinks about it into T1 as well. How early the AI braking there. Sorry, Gio, I didn't realise. I think we might have sent him to the shadow round there. I thought that wasn't my best moment. Oh, we got more yellow flags out. What's happened to one of the Williams? Riding on board with Nicholas Latifi in towards turn 1 then. What's he managed to do? Just decide he's doing some donuts down at turn 1. Do your thing, Nicholas, I suppose. But not great for Williams. Trying to get a bit of a run on Kimi Raikkonen now. We're already on to lap 6 of this Grand Prix. We haven't really made any more forward momentum here. Raikkonen goes defensive. We'll send it down around the outside there. Big lock-up, but we do go clean around the outside of Kimi there. Very, very important we don't lose the DRS to Gasly. Otherwise, that move was pretty much wasted for us. Gasly now 1.1. This is not great. Why did I send it there? Why did Kimi go defensive and think I had a chance? Oh, more yellows. Oh, what's happened there to one of the Alpines? So riding on board then with the Alpine. Let's see what goes on as we head in through Sector 2. Just way too early on the throttle. No idea what Alonso had planned there, but that was not his finest.
Yellow flag.
Oh, Gasly's got issues. Second power unit failure of the day there for Pierre Gasly, who falls out of this Grand Prix there. So that now means we're under 12 here, but the first 7 laps of this Italian Grand Prix have been carnage.
1.6 seconds.
1.6 now to Yuki Tsunoda, but that's 2 engine failures and 2 spinners in 7 laps. Kimi's going to get a run on us here as well, I can just tell. Kimi Raikkonen down around the outside he goes. Probably should work a bit more with the fin again. There is the potential for some points here for the pair of us. But Kimi, though, clean, yeah, passed again. Really don't want this just to become a game of cat and mouse between Kimi Räikkönen and myself as we just keep swapping positions. But we're definitely going to get a run on him back down towards someone there. 215, 218 miles an hour. So we pull out the slipstream there and clean back around the outside of the fin. They are really closing in though on Tsunoda in front, and that's a problem.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. We're leading our teammate by 4.8 seconds.
Here comes Kimi. See you later, mate.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
Not a fan of that from Kimi Räikkönen, just completely came across me in towards turn 1. Very, very aggressive there, and he's pulled out quite a big margin because of it. We're now going to be vulnerable to Ocon behind, but no front wing damage with a bit of luck. I think we did get away with it. But what was that from Kimi? Bit overly aggressive, mate. Ocon's now suddenly got a run on us as we head out of Ascari there. No idea what traction the Alpine's pulling down in towards the final corner, but we might now both be able to go for something on Kimi. Back down towards turn 1. We will defend the inside there and just squeeze him back out. Can we get another run on Kimi there as we've got our first few pitters in this race? Ocon actually dives it in as well, so he wants nothing more to do with this.
In this lap, push now.
Team want us winning the end of this one. So go clean back around the outside of Kimi in towards turn 1. And now we need no squabbling between the pair of us to see if we can stay out ahead of Ocon. That's been a bad in lap though for us. Luckily we just used a bit more battery so Kimi couldn't get close down the back straight. Worst thing I could think of was going side by side. Down into Ascari there, but through Parabolica. Now we need to get the car slowed down nice and tidy into the pit lane. One of the Mercs has stayed out another lap here. Oh, big lock up at the rears, but we do get it slowed down there. You can see putting a lot of tyre smoke. As well, there is Hamilton into the pit lane. I don't think he's going to get held up too badly as long as we stay out ahead of Kimi. With a nice, clean, tidy stop here ahead of the Alfa Romeo. We did hold up one of the Red Bulls of Perez as well. Why are the team putting a new front wing on? I didn't even think about that.
Go. Exit now. We're racing on the exit. Go, go, go.
Well, that sets way back now in this Grand Prix. Ocon's on hards for whatever reason.
Stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Did the team genuinely believe that contact with Raikkonen had cost us, or what? Because the front wing was on auto, so I just didn't even think they'd do anything with it. It was still green on the HUD. Why is it set to yes? I genuinely don't remember doing that. Right. We've just got to get our head down and carry on, I think. Pray for a safety car now. Right, heading back out of the final corner then. We've got a few more cars into the pit lane. There is Latifi. Is our teammate Schwartzman going to be able to jump us here? No, not quite by the looks of it.
3.1 seconds.
That goes to show how much time we've lost in this Grand Prix, that Schwartzman's right back with us here. Still running P14 and P15 though, isn't too bad. One of the McLaren's into the pits. Lando Norris in once again. Not too sure what's happened there. But heartbreaking end. Well, probably not the end just yet, but heartbreaking for him at this stage of the Grand Prix. They're another big weekend potential for McLaren. So they try and defend from Red Bull, but moves us up another place, and we've got to try and get a bit closer to Kimi, because if there's a retirement in the top 10, he can put Alfa Romeo ahead of us in the Constructors. Crossing over 2/3 race distance here from the Italian Grand Prix, and we are just taking a bit of time out of the guys in front there. Raikkonen, though, has completely closed up to Yuki Tsunoda. So I'm a little bit worried about worst case scenarios. That's not good through turn 1. Schwartzman, though, we have been dragging him along with us quite nicely, as we've taken a couple of seconds out of the guys ahead, but just worried it's not going to be enough by the end unless something happens. I'm also getting a little bit worried about fuel at this stage of the Grand Prix. There, Schwartzman's going to get a big run on us back down towards turn 1 as Raikkonen has pulled off the move on Tsunoda. It's not great at the moment for us, and yeah, we need to save fuel. We started with more in the tank than we needed, apparently. But still, yeah, we've gone slightly under, so we're going to have to lift and coast into the corners.
Behind us is lapping faster than us by around 1 second per lap.
Oh, I feel like this race is all starting to unravel for us. With just 8 to go, but we need to try and get a bit of fuel back first, and try and stay in the slipstream of our teammate Schwartzman before we worry about anything else. No chance of scoring points if we don't have any fuel in the car. I'm going to try and get up to about 0.1 laps worth of extra fuel in the car again. So we're pretty much hovering back on level now. We get a nice run on our teammate, but we're not going to capitalise it back into T1. As Tsunoda tries to make a move work on Kimi. Robert, mate, we're not going for it. I think... Oh, come on. Tsunoda has defended from Kimi Räikkönen again. To be honest, I think in the perfect world, Ocon will get the pair of them, because I fancy Ocon's chances in the Alpine more. Right, I think we've saved enough fuel now not to worry until the end of the Grand Prix, so we'll probably go on the offensive again on our teammate Robert Schwartzman here, but I can't help but feel like there just could be one more twist in this Grand Prix there. Raikkonen and Tsunoda are still battling each other out back down towards turn 1.
5/10 a lap, 5/10.
Come on, Robert, don't do this. Not your first Grand Prix for the team, mate. I'm more than happy to try and drag you up to those guys, but we need to work together now. Really try and get closer, because, yeah, Ocon now 3.5 seconds. If they keep battling into the chicanes, like I think they are, that is perfect for us. Oh, we've got some DRS with 5 to go. We've just snuck into the DRS window there, as you can see just how much time they're holding each other up by. At this stage of the Grand Prix there, Raikkonen trying to look to the inside of Tsunoda. Thinks better of it that time around. That completely slows up Ocon through at Ascari as well there, but I think we just need to be really, really patient in this. We saw earlier on in the Grand Prix what happened when I tried to battle with Raikkonen there, and just Tsunoda got away and there was nothing we could do. So yeah, we need to play this like a game of chess, I think, in the final 4 laps. Oh, here comes Kimi again on Tsunoda back into T1. You can see just Ocon has to wait in the wings. But can we get the power down on the exit of the corner? We've still taken a lot out of the rubber at this stage of the day, but at least now we know we've got a little bit of fuel in. Could Schwartzman do something here? I mean, Alonso's closing in as well. This is becoming a big, big scrap for what is quite a crucial point for a few teams here. Alpine and AlphaTauri, of course, locked into battle as well. Ooh, big chunk of wheel spin on the exit there. Come on, Schwartzman, don't fight this too hard. Oh, that's not great from me, I'll be honest. Come on, don't lose the 1 second. Yeah, we should be good for now. Ocon having a go now on Raikkonen as we head in towards the final corner of lap 24. Is there going to be some contact? No, Ocon really just shoves Raikkonen out of the way there, so Ocon might now be going for it on his hard compound tyres here again. We're just trying to save some battery still, but sticking close enough.
In just over 10 minutes time.
That's not going to make any difference. But Ocon might just pull off a double overtake there. Yes, he has, back into T1. We can't let Kimi and Tsunoda now start battling behind him. We need to stay with Ocon. Like I said, I thought Ocon would probably be the strong one to be able to get away from this. We're now going to try and get past Kimi as well, though, putting me even further back in this Grand Prix. Don't want to go for anything on Tsunoda, though. Don't want Tsunoda losing any time to Ocon, but we do now get past the Finn, and that is critical. Is Tsunoda going to get a run on Ocon back down towards turn 1? The AlphaTauri is looking at it, but not close enough this time round. Less than 2 to go now from Monza. And can we, out of nowhere, still potentially sneak away a point? Heading on to the final lap then here from the Italian Grand Prix. And I don't think we have worked so hard at any race so far this year to try and keep ourselves in the mix. There is a big, big opportunity on this final lap there. Tsunoda should get a run on Ocon. Back down towards someone. We've got yellow flags out. One of the Alfa Romeos has been it. That's Giovinazzi, but I absolutely do not care at this stage of the race.
Time to the car behind. Keep pushing.
Tsunoda tries to pull off a power move on Ocon.
Incident on track resulting in loose debris.
Still don't care, Jeff. Ocon holds on ahead of Tsunoda, though. We need to try and get past Tsunoda into this next chicane. We absolutely have to here, as we might be able to get a bit of a run on Ocon as well. 3 wide into the chicane. Oh, we've completely squeezed out Tsunoda. We park it on the exit, and we have made the move into P10. It wasn't the cleanest move in the world, but I don't actually think there was any contact there. We did very much just sort of muscle our way in, and now we've got to try and keep the battery in check for the final half a lap here. Big wobble on the exit of the corner there. We're going to completely drain the battery down in towards Ascari whilst these guys have the DRS, but look at that from Ocon to the outside in towards Ascari chicane for the final time in this Grand Prix. We're going to have to force him out wide there, and we do so. Ocon can't do anything in that situation there. Valtteri Bottas has won the Grand Prix ahead of Daniel Ricciardo here, but we are going to come through by the looks of it, unless Ocon can do something miraculous in towards the final corner out of nowhere. 12th on the final lap. A double overtake down the middle into the second chicane there, but we're going to come through for our second points of the year. How about that?
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Here we are then, a thoroughly deserved win in Italy after another excellent Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, You can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own, and that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. Let's see how the driver standings have changed. Not the result our points leader wanted, but it certainly makes things interesting going forward. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Let's give it to Esteban Ocon. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there we are then, guys. The end of the Italian Grand Prix, and it is Bottas who picks up another race victory there. What's that now? 4 or 5 in a row? He really is trying to take that gap to Hamilton down at this stage of the campaign there. Ricciardo, though, comes through for P2. Hamilton in 3rd place there, ahead of Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Stroll, Perez, Sainz, Vettel. And we come through for our 2nd points of the year there. Just half a second. I mean, Schwartzman was 1.2 behind us at the end of the day. They're a fantastic debut for our teammate, as well, there are 5 cars locked in that battle right at the very end of the Grand Prix. How far back was Alonso in the end? No, Alonso was right there as well as Lando Norris. I didn't even know they were there. So what's that? 7 cars separated by less than a second and a half at the end of the Grand Prix, but we were the one that was able to walk away with the points there. So yeah, a miraculous job done. You know what it was? Must have been the pink towel at the end of the day as well there. But we do come ahead of Ocon, who, let's be fair, had a valiant effort. From being last on the grid to just missing out on points in the end. There is a fantastic job done by the Alpine man there. Tsunoda in 12th ahead of Raikkonen. And like we said, Schwartzman, a fantastic debut for him as well. Really got stuck in the action there. And I'm sure, yeah, he's going to be a man to watch in the future as well there. Alonso finishes ahead of Norris, Russell there. Mazepin, Latifi and Giovinazzi with his late spin is the last of your finishes there, ahead of Gasly and Mick Schumacher as well. But it does mean championship-wise, Hamilton, the gap now down to just 10 points at the top of the standings there. Ricciardo leapfrogs his way back up into 3rd place there. Verstappen holds on to 4th, but Norris's no score drops him all the way down to 5th place there. We hold on in P15 overall. Schwartzman, though, well, I mean, he's up to P23, though. I think he's going to try and get a few more cars on countback as well in the not-too-distant future as well, if things keep going his way at this stage of the year there. Constructors-wise, though, that 1 point could be critical between ourselves and Alfa Romeo later on in the year there. Mercedes still dominant out front, though, ahead of McLaren and Red Bull as well there. And yeah, Alpine and AlphaTauri, no points gained for either of them this weekend, means the gap remains at 3. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like and get yourselves subscribed. We desperately needed that result this weekend, so happy we could come in clutch. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, I think, for the Singapore Grand Prix. You guys do not want to miss it. None of these videos could be possible without the support of our channel members. So a massive thank you to the Travesty, Patrick, Chuan and David Bennett for becoming channel members. You can join them and be featured in these end clips by clicking the join button down below.